Hello, I'm Michael Bell, former fire chief of the city of Toledo and former mayor. What we're going to talk about in this book is fire rescue vehicles. Now, there are so many different types of fire rescue vehicles, you'd really be surprised. A lot of times it may be a fire vehicle or it may be a police vehicle, but there are so many different types of vehicles and they all do specialized things. So the first vehicle is a fire truck. Here they come. They are ready to put out a fire. You have all sorts of different fire trucks. You have a ladder truck. You have hoses on those trucks. You have what they call a bucket. You have flashing lights. You have a truck called a pumper. And you got a truck called a ladder truck. And what is not shown in this book is a lot of times they have a rescue squad which carries a lot of specialized equipment. And they have a lot of other things to get people to the fire. The fire pumper or engine is the apparatus that actually carries its own water source. The reason it carries the water source is that if they get to a fire and there is no hydrant available, they can still start to extinguish the fire until either another unit comes that actually carries water to the fire scene, or they're able to tap into a hydrant to be able to get water. So that's why it's important that these fire pumpers or engines have their own water supply, because remember, seconds make a difference at a fire, so the quicker they can start putting water on the fire, the smaller the fire will be later on in that particular scenario. The ladder trucks are designed so that if you have high areas that you need to be able to get to, the ladder truck allows for the firefighters to get above the fire and be able to do what is necessary to put the fire out. Firefighters have to be able to get to a roof to ventilate the roof. They call it ventilating the roof. And what that means is that they're going to put a hole in the roof, so just like if you had a tea kettle on the stove and it starts you see the steam coming up, if you put a hole in the roof, it allows for all that heat that's in that house to come up through that hole. And that actually makes it easier for the firefighters to be able to fight the fire inside the building. So ladder trucks are very important, and ladders themselves are very important. So both of them work in coordination with each other, and typically when you see one going to a fire, you'll usually see a ladder truck too. So you have an engine or a pumper, and you also have a ladder truck. Then we have ambulances. You know what an ambulance is. It is for people who are sick. Wee wee, wee woo. Cars, get out of the way. You hear the sirens all the time. Now, most people know that when a fire truck or an ambulance is coming, you're supposed to move to the right side of the road so that they can get through. A lot of times, they're not sure what traffic's going to do, so they got to be really careful, and we got to watch for their safety just like they're watching for yours. So by making everybody move to the right side of the road, it allows for the fire trucks and the ambulances and ladder trucks and all that stuff to get down the road without having an accident. Sick or injured people ride in the back. They get to the hospital fast, and typically in our area here, most of the time they can get people, once they leave the scene, probably to the hospital in 8 to 10 minutes. Police cars, they rush to crime scenes. Police cars are really, really fast. And they carry a lot of equipment too. They have a lot of things that they have to be able to deal with. And on an 8-hour shift that they have, they might see a lot of different things. So they have a lot of equipment inside police cars. How do you talk to other police? Each police car has a radio, and you press a button to talk into it. So they have radios inside the police car, and a lot of times if you look at a police officer, they'll have a microphone somewhere on their shoulder here or right on their chest, and they can talk into the microphone. Sometimes they have it in their ear. It just depends on what type of equipment they have. But those radios are very, 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 very important, because if they can't communicate, they can't get extra help if they need it. So the radio is a very important portion of police equipment or fire equipment for that instance. Coast Guard boats. They help other boats in trouble. The Coast Guard are the people that go out in the lake or they go out in the ocean and they go out and rescue people. And they usually rescue them when they get themselves in trouble, where maybe a storm comes up or some uncertain thing happens to them out there. There's got to be somebody that has the ability to rescue them. The Coast Guard are the people that rescue people out on the water. And they have special boats that sometimes, if the storm gets bad enough and it flips the boat over, the boat will flip back over. So they got specially made boats that actually can flip over and flip back over on the back to where it's back up and stable, and all their people are still able to continue to rescue. Now they train to do this. Now I've never wanted to be on that boat when it's flipped over like that. And I'm going to tell you, still don't want to be on that boat. Rescue helicopters. They can lift hurt people. Rescue helicopters are a very important piece of equipment in national parks and in areas where there is a lot of forest area or mountains, because those types of areas are very difficult for regular rescue people to get to, because sometimes when people go hiking or they go camping, they go way off the road, so the roads aren't even close. So typically for a fire truck or police officers or things like that to respond, they normally respond on road. But what do you do when there is no road? Well, a helicopter helps them get to where they need to be. And they're able to figure out the coordinates of where people are, meaning they're able to figure out where exactly you are, and then they send a helicopter, and they send people who have special skills who may rappel out of the helicopter to be able to help somebody that's injured. We have people that try to climb mountains and things like that. Occasionally they have an accident where they fall or whatever, and you still have to be able to get to those places. So these rescue helicopters allow for that to occur, and they have a very important job. If you look at some of the equipment, they have blades, they have wheels, they have a hoist, they have a searchlight. Remember that sometimes emergencies happen at night, so it's very important to have a light and to be able to see what you're doing even when it's dark. So those helicopters come equipped with a lot of different things. I think that would be probably a very exciting job to have. Then you have hazmat trucks. They clean up bad spills. Hazmat, what does it mean? It means hazardous materials. Stay away. The reason they say stay away is that you have to understand that hazardous materials are materials that, if they come in contact with you, can make you very ill or might actually kill you. And so we have to have people, and typically they're on the fire departments, who are trained specially to be able to address those types of issues. They train a lot and they drill a lot and they do the things that are necessary so that they can pull up on these scenes and be able to protect people. They have to have special gear. They put on things that probably to you all would look like space suits, so that they can actually walk up on the areas that they need to be able to evaluate and be able to do whatever it is to stabilize the situation. So hazardous material trucks are very important pieces of equipment in fire services. Then if you are in a hazardous area and they tell you to back up, back way up. And I mean way up. A couple miles away. Because sometimes some of this stuff can be really, 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 really bad. Motorcycle ambulances. They get through traffic fast. You got to realize that minutes save lives, and the quicker we're able to get people to the scene, the better chance they stand of surviving. And so they're mostly used in areas where there's a very high traffic area and you can't get regular ambulances there as quick. So if you have a motorcycle ambulance, you also have another regular ambulance that's following them somewhere, but the two people, the two motorcycles, typically it's two motorcycles, they get to the scene quicker, they're able to stabilize the patient, and by the time the transport vehicle, which is the other ambulance, gets there, who can actually take and put the person in the back of a vehicle and take them to the hospital, at least they've gotten medical attention early. So these motorcycle ambulances are very important for being able to get into areas where you can't get quickly in a car or an ambulance or a truck because the traffic is so heavy. And so these individuals who train, they have to learn how to ride that motorcycle for one. And I'm a motorcycle person, so I like that particular job. But they have to be able to train and be equally as good as the people who are showing up on the ambulance trucks to be able to stabilize the patients and do what is necessary. They carry a lot of medical equipment on the ambulances, on the motorcycle ambulances, that will allow for them to do the first blush of whatever is necessary to stabilize a patient. Hydrocopters are a piece of equipment that actually the air is underneath it and raises itself up, and it allows for it to glide over ice and some portions of land. And what these things are normally used for is for ice rescues. When you get people that are stuck out on the ice, or you got people that go out ice fishing and the ice becomes unstable, what they do is they'll go out on these hydroplanes or hydrocopters, and they will go out and rescue people who have fallen through the ice or need to be assisted. And so what makes it nice is because they ride above the ice, they don't sink and they don't go in, and they're able to do some things that you could not do with a truck or any other thing. The hydrocopter is a totally different creature. It's sort of fun to watch because it can just sort of glide with the wind, and it's just it's really a sharp piece of equipment. Meet an emergency medical technician or EMT. What does she need to help people? She has a stethoscope, which she can listen to your heart, listen to your lungs, and make sure you're doing okay. She has a pin light to check your eyes out to see if your pupils are reactive and doing the things they're supposed to do. She has gloves to keep herself protected and you protected. She has a first aid kit. So she has a lot of things. So as you can see, each one of those trucks that we were talking about, all of them carry special equipment, all designed to save lives and property. So I hope you've gotten a little bit out of this, and thank you very much for letting me speak to you.